Welcome, everyone. We're just going to give participants a minute or two just to kind of settle in and have any new members join us, and then we'll kick things off. All right. Well, hello and welcome to today's webinar. It's called Use Interactive Content to Boost Social Media Marketing. We're going to talk about interactive content and social listening. I'm Milena Schmidt, U.S. Marketing Manager at Talkwalker, and I'm joined by our very special guest, Etty Dubey, who is a content specialist at Outgrow.
Hi, Milena, and hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us.
And before we start, I will tell you a little about Talkwalker. So we are a social media listening and analytics company. We empower over 2,000 companies to optimize the impact of their communications efforts. So we provide businesses with an easy-to-use platform to protect, measure, and promote their brands worldwide across all communications channels. And now, if you could please tell us a little more about Outgrow.
Definitely. So we at Outgrow, we are an interactive marketing platform, and we usually deal with B2B customers, and our tool helps companies generate new leads, nurture them, and basically use interactive content for all marketing processes, ranging from lead segmentation, lead generation, nurturing, to conversion. And we have seen numerous examples of customers getting up to 50% conversions using interactive calculators, quizzes, chatbots, giveaways. And today we will be discussing how interactive content can boost your social media marketing efforts. And basically that's what it's all about.
Fantastic. And just a quick look at our agenda. We're going to kick things off by talking about interactive content. What is it? We're going to look at social media marketing through interactive content. We'll examine some case studies, some businesses that you might know, some brands, how they're using it, and what benefits it's brought them. And we're also going to talk about content creation and social listening, how social listening will help you create better, smarter, and more engaging content. And lastly, we are going to open up the floor to questions, and Outgrow is going to share an offer. So Etty, tell us, what is interactive content?
Perfect. Thank you, Milena. So so moving on to what interactive content actually is. In fact, before moving forward, I wanted to ask all of our audience members, our attendees here. So basically, what pops in your mind when you think of interactive content? Please let me know through the chat. And basically, what the answers that I usually get is that maybe it's a BuzzFeed quiz that you attempted recently, or maybe it's an investment calculators that you used recently. So Megha here says that she thinks polls are interactive content. Perfect. So there are a lot of people chipping in that talk about interactivity and engagement, and that's basically what interactive content is. It's content that requires a participant's actual active engagement. Thank you so much. Melissa also says the same thing, that it requires the user to do something. So exactly. So interactive content is content that requires the user's active participation. The user isn't just reading the content, but they're actually interacting with it to derive results. In fact, according to research, there are around 2 million blogs that are published every day. And we are not even counting the social media posts and the ads that are published every day. So how do we catch the attention of a generation that has statistically proven to have an attention span less than that of a goldfish? So our idea is to interact with them instead of lecturing them. In fact, as you can see on your screens, interactive content is known to generate 2 times more conversions than passive content. And that, I think, is one of the most important reasons for us to take interactive content seriously, especially when it comes to social media marketing. So moving on, there are different types of interactive content. There are polls, just like, and some of you even mentioned, Kelsey here mentioned clickable video ads, exactly. There are calculators, assessments, polls, surveys. A lot of you mentioned polls. Melissa also mentioned polls, as did Mary. And there are giveaways, chatbots, gamification. I see that Mary mentioned Instagram polls, and that is very interesting. And that is actually a part of what we will be discussing later on in this webinar about how social media marketing platforms are already embracing interactive content and how you can do the same. By basically getting an idea of what interactive content is before you even invest in any sort of tool. So moving ahead, all right, so we will be talking about basically about the importance of social media marketing and how interactive content can help you boost your social media marketing efforts. So as you see, social platforms help you connect with your customers, increase awareness about your brand, and boost your leads and sales, essentially. And what's important to note here is that more than 3 billion people around the world use social media every day. So there is no passing this trend. So social media marketing can help you connect with your leads and customers in a more personalized way and engage with your customers. Of course, certain companies use it for customer support as well. And we have to understand that it's actually a very major part of any company's marketing strategy. But then, of course, there is a lot of competition that is around social media marketing, and that is where interactive content jumps in. So I believe that the best way of going about this would be uh, understanding the problems and the challenges that that we as marketers might face while pursuing social media marketing, and then finding out and then discovering how interactive content can help you solve those social media marketing challenges. Again, I would request all of our attendees to chip in and give some ideas on how interactive content can solve any media marketing challenge, any one major touch point, any pain point that you think is very clear about, or any challenge that you face in your social media marketing efforts, and what you feel might be solved by interactive content.
And
So let
before,
me, yeah.
before we jump in with the actual challenges, we wanted to
Mhm.
launch a poll. Basically, we wanted to learn, is interactive content part of your current strategy? Just to kind of get a sense of attendees. Give another minute for people to respond. All right, so here's the verdict. 57% of attendees, yes, they're using interactive content as part of their strategy. So we hope that you learn how to just further use this to basically meet your goals. And for the 42% that are not, this will be a great introduction for you, and hopefully you'll have some great takeaways to get started.
Perfect. Thank you, Milena. And thank all of you for engaging with that poll. As you can see, interactive content increases the engagement of your customers, which I see is like a product in action at the moment. And that is essentially what we would be focusing on here as well. In this section, we will be focusing on challenges that are associated with social media marketing and how interactive content can solve them. So what you see on your screen is what I, as a marketer, hear a lot. This is what a lot of our customers deal with. This is a problem of creating engaging content for social media. So basically, it's one of the biggest problems that prevents us from getting the best results, because there are thousands of brands that are competing for user attention on social media. And almost all of them are talking at the same time, and that generates so much noise. And the noise makes it even more difficult to stand out, even if you are using paid or organic placements to put your content forward. And moreover, apart from all of that, and on top of all of that, it is often said that customers today do not want to be sold to, because by the time we get on a sales calls with them, they have already researched about us and about five of our competitors. And in such a situation, a salesy or a self-promotional post or a self-promotional ad does not really bear a lot of fruit. So the only possible solution here is to create engaging content for social media posts that actually provides value to our leads and prospects. So interactive content jumps in here because it is inherently personalized, and it provides the user with quick answers for their queries and provides recommendations according to their needs and preferences. And here, interactive content like quizzes and calculators can be especially helpful. So here what you see on your screen is a business valuation calculator that was created by Flippa. So Flippa is a marketplace which is for buying and selling online businesses, and it's based in Melbourne. So now through this calculator, the lead can determine their business valuation by answering a simple set of questions. Now, moreover, this provides them with a real-time estimate, which would have otherwise entailed professional help. Now, this free of cost analysis is sure to gather a lot of engagement because it is providing real value to the lead, and that too free of cost. And a result of this is that this calculator garnered around 82K leads and 82K visits and 12K leads. And what we also have to keep in mind here that all of these leads and visits were qualified because nobody would bother to engage with this niche piece of content unless they had something to gain out of it. And I believe that is a lesson directly from the inbound marketing textbook, because we are only reaching out to people. We're only going out for people that are actually interested in our services and our tool. Again, I would like to hear your thoughts here. If there is any calculator or quiz or poll that you saw that you considered especially engaging, I would love to hear about that and we can discuss that. Another company that I saw that was using interactive content and was using it pretty well was Mercedes. So Mercedes-Benz was looking to increase their engagement on their social media pages, and they created this interactive calculator that basically allowed their users to determine their insurance premium cost. So they turned this calculator into an ad, and they ended up garnering 6.7K likes and numerous views and uses of this calculator within 7 days of going live. And that is something that we consider pretty impressive. But then, of course, the engagement factor of interactive content plays a big role here. Another type of interactive content that I think it'd be great to mention here would be giveaways, because they are a great way to increase engagement on social media pages, especially when a company is starting out. Because it works both ways. It'll help you reach your ideal customer amidst all that social media noise and provide value to them. So you can organize giveaways and keep your own product and your own services, or maybe even external vouchers as cash prizes, as the prizes for the giveaway. And a giveaway is probably, in fact, one of the most easy to create and effective interactive content of all time. Basically, this is what stats show. So Meredith also says that giveaways are awesome and they use them for their tourism slide. Exactly, Meredith. We actually have a case study here, which you might find interesting. So Nokia published a social media post that invited people to tune in on their live stream and take part in their quiz. And these people, all these people, registrants, they stood a chance to win prizes as part of the giveaway. And this post ended up being liked 1.8 thousand times and was shared by a lot of people within a few days of going live, because giveaways are just that engaging. They garner a lot of attention because they're based on the most fundamental philosophy of marketing, and that is engaging people and providing real value to them. So basically, through interactive content like giveaways, quizzes, and calculators, you can really boost up your social media marketing efforts. And we ourselves have seen amazing results by using interactive content to create our own social media posts and ads. Moving on to another problem that us marketers face while creating social media posts and pursuing social media marketing is creating content that fits the customer journey in the buyer journey through the funnel. So before I start with that, again, I would like to just ask our attendees if there are any sort of giveaways or quizzes or calculators, any interactive content type that they found especially interesting, especially valuable, or especially engaging. Please do let me know and we can discuss that. All right. Or if you have any questions also, do let me know about what I have mentioned till now or what we are discussing or what we will be discussing. Please do let me know if you have any questions and I will try to answer them as soon as possible. Again, Melissa says that she finds trivia contests on their content work well. And that's amazing. And that's amazing. She says that it gives them their swag, and I love how she worded that. All right, so moving ahead to another problem that would be finding content that fits the customer stage. So now we've already discussed how interactive content can help you in creating engaging content for your leads and how important it is. But then we cannot underestimate the importance of relevant content. It is extremely important to provide content which is in sync with the lead stage in the funnel while pursuing social media marketing. And that is what interactive content gives you. It helps you create personalized content for customers at every stage of the buyer's journey. And to illustrate, what I've done is I've added interactive content use cases and case studies and ideas here for each stage of the buyer's journey that can help you nurture your leads better. All right, so first we come to the top of the funnel, which the best kind of interactive content that we can use here is outcome quizzes and assessments. Now, we all know that the top of the funnel is all about awareness. At this stage, the buyer is just trying to solve a problem, but they have not decided on a solution or a provider. Now, our job as a marketer is to educate them enough to make them interested. And here is where interactive content jumps in to make it easy for us and as marketers. So let's assume you own a SaaS company, and demand generation can be tricky in such a competitive market environment. So the right interactive content can solve that problem out. So maybe if you're a SaaS company, a quiz titled maybe the ultimate cloud platform can help us attract prospects that are interested in that particular domain. Not to mention, it'll also helps us gather qualified subscribers. And again, the Flipper calculator that I mentioned before is a great example of an interactive content that you can use to aid your top of the funnel leads. All right, moving on to the middle of the funnel. So the interactive content type that we recommend here is product recommendations and cost calculators. Now, prospects in the middle of the funnel are aware of their problems and they're looking for solutions. In this stage, we need to take a deeper dive into how our company can help them solve their problems. But we have to keep in mind that customers today do not want to be sold to. So what we have to do at this point is better understand how we can address their issues, their problems. So for instance, you can have an assessment that helps your prospects assess their current sales cycle and engagement process. And again, I have a case study here. So basically, Suno Research is an investment analysis firm which focuses on providing information to public interested in the capital market. Now, they created an interactive calculator that helped their middle of the funnel prospects calculate their ideal monthly investment to reach their saving goals. Now, this experience helped them gather 39K leads and 15K visits, which we think is extremely impressive. But then again, we have to understand just how important it is to create interactive content which fits the stage of the funnel, which fits the place of the funnel that the lead is on or the prospect is on. Moving on to the bottom of the funnel. So, bottom of the funnel, prospects are looking to buy. They are not sure if they will buy it from you. So in this stage, we need a very strong CTA or an added advantage to nudge them in your direction. So an ROI calculator is what we recommend can be that final nudge. For instance, here is the HubSpot ROI calculator, which basically acts as that final nudge that actually encourages the prospects to purchase. Now, a lot of marketers give a lot of importance to creating content that fits the buyer's position in the funnel. And we ourselves have seen increased conversions by putting this into practice. Ava here asks what is an ROI calculator. So basically, Ava, ROI calculator is basically a return of investment calculator that lets you understand, lets you figure out what you stand to gain from using a particular tool, a particular service. So here, what HubSpot did is that it asks their prospects a few simple questions like their monthly visitors, their leads, their monthly customers, and monthly sales price per customers. And then they calculate what their prospects stand to gain once they start using HubSpot software. So I hope that I was able to answer that question. Again, I would like to encourage all of you to ask as many questions as you can, because we really hope to make this webinar as educational and as insightful as possible for you guys. Moving on to our next problem that a lot of marketers face while pursuing social media marketing is having enough resources. So what all of us know that the lack of time, budget, manpower, and other resources can greatly hinder our social media progress. And with social media growing at its current speed, running successful campaigns across a number of channels isn't as easy a feat, especially if we're lacking in resources. So at Outgrow, a lot of our clients are startups, and some of them are looking to pursue demand generation. So we actually place a huge emphasis on this, that having enough resources is extremely important for a company, and it can become a major challenge for a lot of us. So the next step would be to think of solutions for the same. So interactive content requires minimal investment, which provides a high ROI. Now, most marketers cannot afford to boost their post or advertise on every channel possible. And the hit and trial method then, of course, is time consuming and resource consuming. So basically what we recommend to people is that we analyze the channels that are bringing in the most results, and then we amplify that success using interactive content. Shawnee says that she'd have to leave early, but again, yes, of course, Shawnee. So we will be sending a copy of this webinar to all of our attendees. So do not worry. That's not a problem. Oh, that's perfect. All right, moving ahead to a case study related to having enough resources and how that can be a challenge while pursuing social media marketing. We moved on to a Facebook post that was created by Chelsea Football Club, and I hope that it'll help you understand this point better. And Alex says that he has already taken that quiz, which is fantastic. So this post included an interactive quiz that enticed the fans to test their knowledge about their new team coach. Now, this is how the quiz actually looked like. It included some extra information along with the correct response as soon as the user selected his or her option. Now, best part is that you can actually recreate quizzes like this with Outgrow assessment, but we will be talking about that later. Coming back to the Chelsea interactive post, this post managed to gain 87.1 thousand likes along with 1.3 thousand comments, and that too within 9 days of going live, and with Alex being one of them. So I hope you get how even in like companies, from small companies to big companies, a lot of brands is using interactive content and bringing in interactive content into their social media marketing strategy to make it more engaging, to make sure that it adds more value to their customers. All right, moving ahead again, then I have another case study here because I know that when it comes to lack of resources, Chelsea Football Club might not be a good example. So here is another example of a small business named Sipsby.com. So Sipsby is basically an Austin-based startup, which is founded by a small group of tea lovers who just wanted to discover tea to be fun, personalized, and affordable. So here is an interactive outcome quiz that they created and then made live on Instagram. And it allowed their leads to find the tea type that suited them the best. And of course, thereafter, the leads could buy personalized tea boxes on the basis of their preferences. Now, this ad helped Sipsby read a whole new audience and increase their engagement that they were getting on their page and double the lead generation by 50%. So again, this is a testament to just how interactive content can be used despite of the resources that you might have, because it covers a lot of the issues that you might face while thinking about your marketing strategy.
This is a great example, and it's one of my favorites. I spend way too much time taking these types of quizzes. The last one I did was discover your wine selection for your monthly wine shipment based on your, the flavor profiles and foods you like to eat. So yeah, this is one of those great examples.
That's perfect, Melina. All right. Moving ahead to, again, I would ask anyone else if they have any questions, please do let me know. I mean, I will try to answer them as soon as possible. Moving on to one of the biggest problems that marketers face while creating content for social media is creating content that is shareable. The logic is simple. So if social media managers need to find a tactic that works for them, and they have to but then in the end they keep using it over and over again, and they end up in a creative rut. And because of that, the result starts declining after a while, and we need to switch our tactics again. Because even though our content is valuable and relevant, it could use a creative boost. And moreover, social media is all about relationships, and people share to bring entertaining, informative, and valuable content to their peers. So we have to consider using different formats. And secondly, what we have to consider is using emotional appeal and telling great stories. So we feel that, in our opinion, interactive content can help you craft such content and derive those results. Just like Milena mentioned, that she spends so much time just trying out outcome quizzes because they're just so interesting. They're just so, they appeal to a basic sense in on all of us that actually increases its shareability and engagement, because because they let us share our opinions. And sometimes how many of us have taken one of those which Big Bang Theory character are you quizzes, because I have done that a lot. Moving on, now that we're talking about shareable content, I feel like we cannot miss out on the importance of social listening. But I do feel that Milena would better explain that, and far, far better the way than I can. So Milena, could you shed some light on how social listening can and does play a major role in social media marketing success?
Absolutely. Well, first off, I want to start by saying we all know, interactive content, it's fun, it's engaging, it works, but content doesn't just magically appear. We've got smart, witty marketers who love creating it, but we all hit a rut sometimes, and we need inspiration, we need ideas, and also content that works. It's all about knowing your audience, speaking to them, and these are all things that social listening does to help us create smart content. But before I jump in, let's just quickly talk about what is social media listening. So in a nutshell, it's finding and tracking online conversations about keywords, phrases, events. It includes conversations about your brand, your business, your industry, and even about your competitors. So listening to those conversations will help you find patterns and trends that you can use to your advantage. At the end of the day, it really is about knowing your audience. And what you see here basically is some information that you can obtain from a social media listening platform such as Talkwalker. You can learn, gender, age, demographic, some occupations, top interests based on kind of your queries and what you're working on. So now let's get a little specific here. Let's say you're using social listening to do research about food. That's what the project you're working on now, and you're looking into hot topics about vegan food, vegetarian food, and while we're at it, let's have some fun and let's throw in cheat meal because we're all going to be there in February after our kind of healthy eating resolutions are over. Well, or I hope not. So here's what we see. This is basically a search query done on Talkwalker, and we can see that the social media discussions, the results are way more focused on vegan topics. 80% of the discussions are based on that. And then 20% of the discussions were on vegetarian topics. So cheat meals, not so much. So having these insights will help point you in the right direction when you are looking at the type of content to create when it comes to your themes. Some other things you can do with social listening. So you can discover which hashtags matter the most. So when you're creating content or you're looking for the next big thing, hashtags can tell us what people are talking about and what keywords are relevant. So based on this same query, here we can see that food-related topics such as gluten-free, plant-based, cruelty-free are all heavily discussed by vegan and vegetarian audiences. And as you kind of zoom out a little, you can see other kind of peripheral topics that you might want to explore that are associated with your key words based on your search. And another way that you can use social listening to kind of help with your content marketing is to identify influencers. So let's go back to the cheat meal. So when you kind of do a search with a hashtag cheat meal or keywords cheat meal, what comes up or who comes up? So The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, who leads discussions on this topic on social. Let's say you're creating content that's related to this. That's an approach. And if you can kind of make that connection and tie those two together, you're potentially tapping into a whole new audience. And I know he's a celebrity, superstar. The trend right now is to work with micro influencers. That's also something you can do. And the beauty of it is you can basically not just see number of followers, you can see engagement, you can see basically who's following them, their tone, and what just the universe of, are you a fake influencer? Are you real? To really help as part of your content strategy. And this is just, a very brief overview of kind of the powers of social media listening. Other things you can do with insights from social listening are product development based on conversations that people are having, crisis management, customer service. Honestly, the sky is the limit. And, data is a beautiful thing that we can slice and dice in so many different ways. Anyone from a community manager to a data and analytics officer can really, see value and extract value from social listening. So I'm going to kind of turn things over to Etty again, and feel free to, let us know if you have questions. You can ask now or save them for the end.
Thank you, Milena, for that insightful information. And thank you for including the rock example, because that is exactly what came to my mind when I thought of cheat meals, because I've been seeing his posts too many times. And again, you were right, data is a beautiful thing. And if we create content on the basis of those data, it is even more beautiful because we get actual actionable results, concrete results because of that, which can be tracked. Moving on to using interactive content in social media. So I'll just pick up where we left off. We have already discussed how interactive content can help you solve those problems. Now, let me just discuss how you can use interactive content on certain social media platforms that you might already use without actually using any tool, without actually making any commitments. So Facebook allows you to create hovering satellite view maps, which can be created by simply specifying a GPS point and picking the desired zoom. Then another interactive element that we have seen on Facebook that you can try out is the 360-degree videos in instant articles. So you can choose to do so by simply uploading or embedding those videos. And moreover, you can always create the Instagram ads in Instagram stories. They are very interactive. You can start with the polling sticker because it really allows business to be more engaging and playful in order to build better connections. And not only do they really help those stories to stand out, but they can generate more impact on your campaigns by encouraging more people to watch longer and, of course, engage with it. Um, Before I move ahead, I have a question from David here, and he is asking us that do we need to style our quiz differently to get more shares? Uh, Yes, actually, there are a lot of things that you can do to make sure that your leads get more share, and make sure that your interactive content is more shareable. For starters, of course, you have to make sure that it is engaging, that it is relevant, and that it provides a real value to your customers. Just like we discussed in our previous slides. Then again, we can start by increased personalization. We can use personal pronouns in like you, I, and us instead of say someone. Then we also have to take care, we also have to make sure that we are following all of those marketing psychologies that have proven to gain success, like striking a chord with the audiences and making them feel something, making sure there is an emotional proposition there. Then there are other best practices that we could try out, like we can make it easy for our readers to feel connected and see themselves in their content. Of course, then we can focus on trending topics and making sure that there are images, there are graphics, there are interactive content is designed for social sharing. And that includes the appropriate graphic and a very strong CTA. So then I hope that I answered your question well, David. Moving ahead to what we were talking about. So yes, these are the ways how you can use interactive content in social media. But then, of course, if you are looking to create more interactive content like quizzes and calculators and not just polling and say surveys, you're welcome to try out the Outgrow free trial. In fact, the attendees of this webinar get a 20% off on our annual plans and 1 week extended trial. Usually we just give out 7-day trials. However, for you specifically, we have extended the number of days. All you have to do is click the link that is on your screens and head over to our sign up page and then write the code Outgrow plus Talkwalker on our widget, which would be at the bottom of your Outgrow screens. And through this, you can easily automate data collection, integrate with 1,000+ tools, get the smart builder and optimize templates. So you don't really need to code. And of course, you can cancel in time. Moreover, our customer support team is there for you 24/7. So if you have any doubts or you need any help with our tool, we're right there for you. And all you need to do is just click the chat widget, which is at the bottom of your screen, and our customer support will be there to help you. All right. Moving on, I guess it would be a great idea to just summarize what we did in this webinar. So I hope that you learned a lot here. I hope that we provided some value to you. Um, basically what we talked about till now was what interactive content actually is and how it can help you increase the social media engagement and conversion rates, and how it can help you in lead generation, nurturing, and basically increase your overall engagement of your social media posts. Also, how it can help you create social media posts that are shareable and fit the buyer's journey and your budget. Um, of course, it can also aid in repurposing your content. In fact, I'd like to share that New York Post genuinely usually share their content and then repurpose them into an interactive content. If they've written a very research-based and very niche article, they often tend to create that into a quiz or a poll and share it on their social media pages, and that tends to bring more engagement on their articles. Again, we also talked about social listening insights. And Milena, can we talk a little bit more about how it can help us create smarter content?
Yeah, happy to answer any questions now that we're moving into the question segment. And I know we've answered a lot throughout.
Yeah. All right. So
I have one here from Mike, and he wants to know, do you have any interactive content ideas for the real estate industry?
Definitely. So we can create interactive content for each stage of the funnel. So when we're talking about real estate, maybe we can start from the top of the funnel and then we can create fun quizzes, something that actually gets people interested, like which celeb house should I plan my vacation in? Or maybe which celeb will enjoy staying at my home? So maybe a question like that will get more people talking about your service or your tool, especially if you're in the real estate market. Next, if we come to the middle of the funnel leads, we can maybe talk about mortgage calculator, basically something that provides more value to them and helps them understand how your tool can be a solution to their problems. Finally, if you are targeting the bottom of the funnel leads, you can maybe create a savings calculator for the people so that they understand how your tool, how your specific service, how your specific tool is better as compared to your competitors. So basically providing them that final nudge towards conversion. So I hope that I answered that question. And Patrick here is questioning if we have any recommendation for interactive posts for an audience that is fairly niche and not super responsive. Yes, Patrick, I think at the end of the day, it's about creating content that makes that person engage with it, that makes our prospects and makes our lead want to engage with that kind of content. So it's all about providing real value to them. So maybe let's say we take a very, very niche example here. Maybe we are talking about someone from the education sector, and those people might not really interact with your digital marketing efforts. So what we can do is that we create interactive content that really aids them, that really provides value to them. For instance, we can create, if we are targeting the prospects in the education sector, maybe we can target people who are looking to study abroad. And then maybe we can create a recommendation quiz that helps them shortlist the colleges that they can attend, the universities that they can attend. So I hope you understand what I'm trying to say here. That's all about creating content that provides real value to the customers. If you have any other questions, do let me know.
I'm going to
Um,
read one from Ty Courtney. Can you have too much interactive content? Are there areas where customers just want to get the information and they'll be overwhelmed by too much interactivity?
Definitely, Courtney. So we have seen that if you include too much interactivity in your content, then people might be fatigued, because at the end of the day, it's about helping them and not just getting more information out of your customers. It's also about aiding them. It's, in fact, it's more about aiding them than getting questions to your answers. So what we try to do is that we create content. We make sure that we limit our interactive. If it's an extremely complex piece of content, for instance, if it's, for instance, say it's a mortgage calculator, then we make sure that we do not include a lot of other content there as well. We make sure that our interactive content does most of the talking there, does most of the work there. If we are talking about, for instance, if we are talking about content marketing, then what we do is that we usually end up embedding only one interactive content piece in our blog, so that even if someone does not want to go through the entire blog, they can just interact with the quiz, the calculator that we have embedded there, and get an idea about what we are talking about. But then at the end of the day, if it's the best way to get your point across is knowing your customers. It's knowing what they want and the kind of interactive content that they want to use, or if they would be interested in a less amount of interactivity, or if they would be interested in content that provides more sort of interactivity, level of interactivity.
Great. We just have a few more minutes left. I want to thank everyone for their participation. I want to thank our special guests, Etty and Daphne from Outgrow. And we will all be in touch with participants. A copy of the webinar recording will be available, and our teams will kind of follow up with individuals that that had very specific nuanced questions, and we will all kind of be in touch. But thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Milena, for this insightful webinar, and I hope that we really were able to provide a lot of value to our customers. I see that there are still a lot of questions that we haven't answered yet, but we will make sure that we answer to all of your questions. We will be reaching out to you, and we will make sure that you get answers to all of those questions through email. And yes, you will be getting a copy of this webinar directly into your inboxes. So don't worry about that. Again, I would like to thank Milena so much, because we really try to make this presentation into as information piece of content as we could. And Milena, you were really helpful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so two things for everyone to try. January, new year, new you, new marketing. Let's try some interactive content and also social listening. It's a great rabbit hole to go down, full of insights to just make everything better and boost engagement all around. Thanks again, and we're going to sign off now. Have a great rest of the week, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.